Hey, everyone. Welcome to the VO Boss Podcast and the Boss Superpower Series. I am here with my lovely co-host. My host and look at you, Lau. I called you my host.
I could be called worse things.
I'll tell you what, right? Yeah,
Yes.
I'm here with my lovely co-host, Lau Lapides. Lau, so wonderful to see you. It's been a little bit.
It has. It's awesome to be back. I'm excited. 2025.
Yeah. I apologize. I was a little bit late, Lau, because as you know, I had to do the hair and the makeup because, we do video things now. And
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you finally took the time to look appropriate.
I'm
for
always
camera.
such a slob on camera, but
we're divas. You know that. We're divas. We're fashionista.
well, it did take
divas.
us 5 minutes prior to pressing record to finish putting our lipstick on. But what I think what's so interesting. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but I think what's so interesting, Lau, is that there's like all sorts of parallel or careers with on camera and influencer marketing that can complement your voice acting career.
And that is amazing because I never thought of it, and I know a lot of listeners may not have thought of it, but you're actually involved with it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like something we have to talk about today is your on-camera appeal
Yes.
as a voiceover talent. I think that it's been a long time that we haven't really faced that, no pun intended. We really have to face our face.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree. And I'll tell you what, it is, I know we had an episode prior to this where we talked about on camera and how it was a great additional side hustle, but not really. It's not even really a side hustle, right? There's a lot of agents out there that really look for people that can be on camera as well as do the voice acting. Mm-hmm. And I think that besides the traditional on camera /theater/ voice acting, I think there's also this whole other world of, I hate to say influencer marketing, but there's essentially your presence online that can help to get you and your brand known. And some of it may be influencers, some of it just may be you're creating those videos that, that other people see. And, I'm kind of for this year because social media is a little bit chaotic. And I know there's a lot of people who are kind of fleeing social media. But I think that at some point, Lau, here's my prediction, right? My prediction is that people will still form those safe communities. And those safe communities, because we've been globally connecting with one another, especially in our industry, right? Because we don't have an office we all go into and meet and talk by the water cooler. We are all online. And so I think we're all going to be in our communities, wherever they may be. Whatever platform they may be, and maybe not even on a platform, maybe just our own Zoom meetings, our Zoom water coolers, where we can, work with one another and talk with one another, and also work with our clients and potential clients.
Wow.
And so
Yes.
I think it's important to talk about what's involved in kind of preparing yourself for this, because for so many years there have been people who want to be voice actors have always thought, well, I don't want to be on camera, and that's why I want to be behind the mic, and that's what I love about that. But I think that we really need to kind of open our minds to thinking about our on-camera presence.
Gosh, there's just so much to unpack about what you just said. We're going to break that up into segments. I think the first one is, of course, as an agent, the first thing I'm thinking about is, and I just work with voiceover talent, but I'm thinking about, do you do on-camera work? Do you also do on-camera work? Because whether you're facing a boutique agency or you're up for representation in one of the bigger hubs, that's one of the first things on their mind is, what do you do across the board? Do you do print work? Do you do modeling? Do you do on-camera ads? Do you do, of course, voiceover? No longer are we compartmentalized into just being a voiceover talent. Now we're going to work with clients and reps that really want to know, wow, could you be the face of this product like you are? Could you be the model for what we're putting out there? And I'm being unafraid because I hear oftentimes, and I know you do too, oh, I got a face for radio. Mm-hmm. And, it isn't even funny anymore because it's far from truth. It's far from accurate. We don't want you hiding behind a microphone. We don't want to not see you.
And it also, it also plays into, again, guys, I know that, like I said, we covered a lot of this in another episode, but I think it's really relevant and timely that we talk about it again for today, because, we're talking about people needing that human connection, right? Again, we've got, chaos right now, social media, division everywhere. And I think that human connection with people that with like minds. And I think that's so important that we establish that. And on camera helps that. It totally helps that we are representing ourselves as the human beings who have a voice, and not just a voice, but a face as well. And we want to, we're real, and we want that real connection.
And we know that in the entertainment industry, 7 out of 10 jobs are going to go to real people, real looking people, real sounding people, real authentic personalities. Like, we know this for a fact. If you don't believe us, turn on media, go to a movie, listen to the radio. You'll hear what we mean, right? We just don't hear as many announcers. We don't see as many announcers unless we watch the Super Bowl. So we really want to kind of be aware that as real people, we're getting a lot more work these days than the super gorgeous, super model, super of what we think we should be on camera, but that's not accurate. For
exactly.
What today's market is.
And like, even though we kind of were kidding around, Law, and talking about putting our lipstick on for, for 5 minutes, that for me, it's something that I love that. For me, that's something that I am so passionate about.
Yes.
For myself anyways, it's certainly not a requirement. I mean, my gosh, look at the celebrities out there that are beautiful without makeup, without the filters. I mean, that's a whole vibe. That's a whole thing. So it's not necessarily, guys, that you have to put makeup on or,
No,
but it's all about representing yourself and who you are. Yeah. And I happen to find a very creative creative artistry in makeup. And it's like a newfound passion of mine after so long of maybe, when I was behind the mic and not necessarily going out so much, where I didn't really think about it. But now it's like, you know what? Let me just get a little zhuzhed up for the camera. And I find that I really enjoy it. However, one thing that I have to say, and this is because, guys, I am dabbling a little bit in influencer marketing. I mean, I don't like to call myself an influencer, but I do work with a few brands where I will, talk about the brands and put myself on camera and display the product and tell people what I think about that product. And so there's a certain presence, and I have to prepare for that. That is something that doesn't come. Well, I'd like to say it came naturally to me, but there's practice involved, and there's preparation time involved in that. And it's funny because I do a lot of things, Law, and this is like yet another thing on my plate. And people are like, "Well, what are you influencing now?" And I'm like, "Well, not really. I'm just basically doing something I'm passionate about, and I'm getting paid. I mean, hey, if I can get paid for it, that would be fabulous." Right. And so I am working with a few select brands that I love, and so because I can be real and human and tell people how much I love them. If I can get a little kickback. It's like affiliate marketing. I'm very much on board with that. Yeah. So I've been doing that, and I'm excited to say that I'm on a couple different platforms now. And no, I'm not giving up voice acting. No, I'm not giving up my coaching or demo production business, but it's something I do on the weekends. But Law, it takes me for me to get ready before I present on camera. I mean, it's an event. This hair is an event. People that have seen me at VO Atlanta know. I mean, I love hiring makeup and hair for VO Atlanta. For me, it's like going to the spa. But it is an event, so you have to really put your time in. And it's also a different way of marketing yourself. And so there's a whole different world, a whole different way of doing it, and I have to educate myself on how to do that.
And I'll tell you, you do this brilliantly. I think you need to move yourself forward, whether you're a male or a female, in a very unapologetic way. So if that is part of your jam, and that's what you do, and that's what you love, or that's what you want to get into, the fashionista side of our industry, then go for it. There shouldn't be any explanation. There shouldn't be any exposition about why you're doing it or
I love it.
Leaving, right? You just love it, right? So that's how we're motivating people to be thinking about this. I also want to talk about Annie, I want to talk about the regular people, the real people who get up, they get into their booth, they're behind their mic
I'm
all
a regular
day.
person. Law.
But I mean, someone who authentically does not want to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
They don't like dressing up. They don't want to put on makeup. I get that. That's probably most people, to be honest with you. And I'll tell you something.
But that's also very real and very engaging and very like it's like reality TV.
Yes, but I just want to say a shout out to those people because we love you, we appreciate you.
We do.
All we're saying is show up as the best you
that
you can put forward. And we just had a conversation about this last night. In corporate, it's very much the same way. If you have a meeting in corporate on WebEx, half the people show up. They don't even turn their videos on, Annie. They don't. Show up. Turn on your video. Feel good about the way you look. Feel good about how you're presenting. Own your little square, right? Or if you're going into an office, come in and command the space and feel at home. Feel good about that. That's going to change your physical presence, right? And it's amazing when we look at actors, especially on-camera actors, and we say, this actor isn't a particularly aesthetically beautiful person, but boy, are they sexy.
Yeah, right.
Why are they so sexy? In fact, Hollywood always had a name for that. They call it sexy ugly people.
Because they have a confidence.
They were just real people, regular people, but they were so confident.
This is me. This, this. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they just come in and be like, "Yeah, this is me, and that's you, and I'm excited we're here, right? Let's do some stuff." And that is the beauty of the mind, right?
Yeah,
the aesthetics of the spirit that is coming along with your gorgeous makeup color and your hair and whatever you choose to do to embellish. Whether you do that or not, it's got to come from the inside.
Well,
it's something internal, right?
It's all in how we talk to ourselves, right? It's all in the stories that we tell ourselves, and it's interesting. And here's a shameless plug, Law. I don't know if you're aware, but I did launch a new podcast in January called "The Myth of You: Self-Awareness in a Digital Age," and we talk about how common myths that you might believe about yourself and how you can. We talk about the hero's journey, and we talk about how your experiences and how you can learn from your experiences and how you can rewrite your story. You can choose to tell yourself, right, that you're beautiful, whether you feel that or not, and then ultimately really hopefully progress and move forward and be happy, successful, all that good stuff. And the fact is that your mind is such a powerful tool. How you speak to yourself, and we talk a lot about those things, and I'm just so ecstatic to kind of delve more into that area because we've talked about it here as well. Because being an actor, being a voice actor, it's very much a mental game. It's very much self-sabotage, the imposter syndrome, all of that is very real. And this is such a cool, podcast where we really explore that even further. But you really need to talk to yourself. And it's funny, even in my Pilates class the other day, in my head, we were doing center and balance class, and of course, we were on the Bosu ball, and I was completely off balance because I feel like I don't know what happened to my balance as I got older. But in my head, I was going, God, I suck at this, and and at the time that I said that in my head, I swear to God, my Pilates instructor said, "Now, guys, you may think that you're not good at this, but it's all in what you say in your mind. So remember that if you continually say, I suck at something, right? I suck at balance," she goes, don't say that to yourself. You need to manifest that you're good at balance. You're good at center and balance. And ultimately your body will follow.
And when someone says, I don't look good, or I'm not excited about getting on camera, or
what do I have to offer?
What are they really saying? Like there's a subtext there.
Yeah.
They're really saying, I'm not ready to show up and be present. I'm not ready to put forward who I am. And that's different than what you do. I think a lot of us work so hard and so much, Annie, that we self-identify as our work, as our business, which isn't a bad thing. But we lose the sense of the separate self. And the separate self has to feel good about just being and showing up.
Well, how interesting is that? Because when we talk about voice acting, right, and we're always talking about bringing yourself to your acting, to your read, and bring yourself. That is really allowing yourself to show up and be present. Because human. I connect to you because of your personality, because of who you are, not because I think you look pretty or I think you sound good.
Exactly.
It's all about, bringing your personality. And that's what I try to tell people in voice acting. It's not so much about how you sound, really, at all. I mean, how many times can we say that? I mean, I feel like every coach in the world forever more will be like, voice acting really isn't about how you sound. I mean, it's about the connection.
Right. And if you can get out of yourself, of your way,
yes.
of your...
To connect.
To the other, right? To really pay attention and to be curious, to be authentically inquisitive, like a child. Like, what is that? What is she saying? What is she doing? Why is she... That is what is sexy and attractive and compelling to an audience, is an audience wants to be taken in by curiosity. They want to feel that they're interesting. Right? If you can make someone feel that they're interesting because you're interesting.
Make someone feel, right?
Make someone feel.
Isn't that,
right?
isn't that like what it's all about? Make someone feel.
Make someone feel.
That's the reason why I listen or watch or pay attention to anything, really.
Okay, so listen, how do we connect this now to this base of your fashion, your branding, your look, your feel? When you get up in the morning, Annie, and you think, okay, I'm going to get dressed, I'm going to do my makeup, I'm going to do my hair, I'm going to do my ritual. How do you select? How do you choose where you want to go with that based on what is going to unfold in your day?
Well, honestly, I mean, I just make sure that I get up and do things for myself that are going to make me feel good, because if I can feel good, right, feel awake, feel healthy, feel clean,
alive.
And feel like I've cared for myself. Like, self-care now is self-love is not selfish at all. And I've learned that a lot in the past few years, especially because when I had, gone through a lot and had gained a lot of weight, I'd lost a lot of my confidence. I had a lot of inner dialogue that was not good. And now I said, I need to make sure that I make the time to have self-care, because self-care for me really sets the tone, sets the day for everything that happens next. Whether I am working with a student, whether I am working with a client, if I feel good about myself, then I can feel good and portray and project that through everything I do, in everything that I do, and to everyone that I'm with.
So in essence, what you do as your choice, certain things aren't your choice. Like our age is not our choice. It just happens, and that's natural, and we move through it. But our choice in everything else we do and how we put ourselves together, our choice then ricochets and affects other people's choices.
Yes, absolutely.
Because their perception of you shifts based on your choice. That's really powerful when you think about that. How much empowerment do you have within you, but how much power it has for someone else's potential change for
absolutely
their future.
And everything that you say to yourself and do for yourself is a choice. Right? There's always a choice. You always have a choice. And, like I just took a great course on happiness. Happiness is a choice. Happiness, joy is a choice. And if you choose joy, which I'm always talking about, choose joy, do something that makes you joyful, then that will ultimately, not only help you, but also affect everyone that you are in contact with and everything that you do, work-wise, personal-wise.
It's a domino effect. It's a domino. So how does someone, let's say we take someone who's not accustomed to this way of thinking and just kind of gets up, grabs a coffee, and goes to work or does what they need to do. What are some of the steps that we can offer to revisit? And again, I'm not just talking about your business brand. I'm not just talking about your persona in your business. I'm also talking about your personality and persona in your life. How do they go about re-envisioning that and making new moves in that direction?
Well, first of all, as we were chatting about earlier, get enough sleep. That's part of self-care, right? Get enough sleep, because when I was recently very, very tired, I'm kind of recovering from a cold. You can hear that. And I had quite a few sleepless nights while my husband also had a cold and was coughing. And I just was jolted awake multiple times, a lot of times because I was worried. And but anyways, running on little to no sleep does not help anything when you're trying to start your day out right. So I would say that. And again, it's got to be like, what is it? How can you start the day? And, and this seems like, I know a lot of people say this, but I will say honestly, what are you grateful for? How can you start your day on a positive note? Because when I was overtired, any little thing could go wrong and I just let it upset me. Like I ended up being angry. I ended up crying. I ended up eating more. It was horrible. It was like this kind of this cascading sort of trauma.
Bad choice.
So if
it was a bad choice fondue.
Right. So if you can again start the day with figuring out what are you grateful for, what are you happy for. I mean, and I know it's one of these. It's been a tough start to the year. I know a lot of people have suffered health issues. It's been chaotic, out there in social media and politically, and turbulent in the world. And I think that we need to have our safe spaces where we can still acknowledge, and no one can take that away from you. By the way, no matter what, right? No one can take your joy away from you. No one can take your inner state, right, and your choice of joy and gratefulness away from you.
Yes, amen, sister. We know this.
And again, my tattoo that says resilience.
So many people live in horrors, but still make the choice to have joy in their daily
absolutely.
life.
I mean,
because joy is small. It's very, very minute. It's a minutia choice. To see things in a joyous way. I'm all for that. I'm going to give a practical and pragmatic one.
Sure.
Okay? In the morning, look at your closet. If you have more than one, go to your different closets. Look at your closet and make a concerted effort to choose something you haven't worn in the last 6 months. And it's going to feel very uncomfortable to you because a lot of those clothes in there, I guarantee you, are for when you get thinner, are for when you feel younger, are for that special occasion, are da-da-da-da-da. But you refuse to get rid of it because you've got some hopes and dreams and memories connected to it.
I have a sparkly shirt.
I'm going to challenge you. I love it. I'm going to challenge you.
I got up and wore the sparkly shirt.
Choose one of those. And here's the challenge. If you're not willing to choose it, I need you to give it away.
Oh, yeah.
I need you to give it away because
it's
actually holding back your joy. It's holding back your beauty. It's holding back your full measure of confidence because there's something in there that says, oh, someday I'll wear it. Someday I'll look good in it. Someday. It sounds small, doesn't it? But that's like a huge feng shui move.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's like a whole science behind cleaning your closet.
A whole science.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm that person that, I had clothes of every size in my closet. Small for when I lost the weight and, large. And it's funny because after this last round of, losing weight, I literally took everything that was sized larger than I was at the time. And I said, that's it. I'm donating it.
That's right. Let someone else enjoy it.
Let
someone else live in it and appreciate it and have a life in it. And it's not yours anymore, right,
absolutely,
Annie? It's not yours anymore. I got another one. Go to anywhere. Go to Sephora, go to MAC, go online, go anywhere you like, and get a new palette for yourself of color. It could be makeup. It could be wardrobe.
I love that.
It could be hair accessories. It could be props, whatever you want it to be. If you're a man, you might choose something that you're going to carry every day. Whatever. What's important about that is it's fresh, it reflects you today, and it's hopeful. There's optimism in that, right? That little moment of re-envisioning. They don't have as many now, but remember, Annie, the days where they had a lot of makeover shows? Like every show was a makeover show. They don't have as many of those anymore. But I mean, the idea of makeover is something I think internally that as human beings, we need a couple times a year. We need to make ourselves re-envision, reinvent, so that we don't get static and held down and stale by the past.
Well, we don't want to talk about my makeup collection.
I kind of do. Because you have the best makeup.
It is large.
I kind of do.
It is a large
Spill
collection.
the beans. We want to know,
It is
Annie.
a large collection, which I actually have to go through because they tell you, after 6 months, you need to dispose of your lipsticks, your eyeshadows.
Tell the truth.
I have
How
a
many
ton
closets do you have full of makeup?
I don't have closets, but I have like under my sink. I have drawers.
How many drawers?
I have lots of drawers. I
Wait,
have at
let me
least
guess.
3.
I'm going to say 6.
At least 3, but they're big drawers. They're big. They're like double-sized drawers.
Don't believe her.
But
It's got to be 6.
I do need to, but now you need to, like, there's a point though when you have too much and you've got to go purge.
Yeah.
And so when you purge, that also is a wonderful feng shui cleansing ritual. But I like the fact that I have every color palette in the world. I feel, but then it's funny because if I watch somebody. Like a video on Instagram and I see somebody with a different color, I'm like, ooh, I like that color. And so it's something new. It doesn't even have to be a makeup color. It can be like maybe just like a new product, and the product does not have to be expensive. I've actually, I kid around about my Chanel lipsticks, but honestly, I have found much more cost effective lipsticks lately in different colors that are amazing. So
okay, now I'm going to come from the real world too, because the real world would say, okay, that's fantastic, and those are great products, a good quality products too. But let's say I don't want them, I can't afford them, they're not for me. I might go over to the dollar store. I might
absolutely.
go over to CVS. In fact, I might go online. So there's a lot of places you can get very similar. Just watch your ingredients, right?
Yeah,
Make sure you don't have allergies.
There's a brand that I use that's very drugstore cheap for facial products. I mean, I used to buy.
What it is? Can you tell us?
ELF.
Elf. We love Elf.
I mean, it's good stuff, and I've been I replaced my entire. I mean, I also use some I do a lot of makeup from them, and I also do skincare as well. And
I love it.
So I'm not spending a ton of money on it either. And so you don't have to spend a lot of money. And again, it doesn't have to be makeup, but if it makes you feel good, absolutely. I think
you need to move it out too within a certain amount of time, just for like cleanliness and bacteria.
Yeah, absolutely.
That if you are using it within, what is it, Annie, 6 to 8 months or something, you're supposed to get rid of it.
Absolutely.
And the other thing, too, is we all know don't double dip, right? So get your one-time applicators, whether it's your eyes or very sensitive areas. Don't double dip, because then all the bacteria is going into your makeup. These are things like that a lot of folks don't think of. They don't know that are so, so helpful, right? What other tips?
Okay, so what sort of tips can we give for people that are not wanting to wear makeup? Let's say maybe it's not makeup related.
All right, I got one. This is for everyone, but men love this. And you're seeing this more with aesthetics lines, is taking care of your skin.
Yeah.
So at any age, it's really important to hydrate, to exfoliate, to stay out of the sun, or get a little vitamin D, but not too much, and really be careful with your skin, not just because of skin cancer and those types of things, but also because you want to have this inner radiant feel. You don't want to feel like a saddlebag. You don't want to feel like, you've been worn down.
You know
what I mean?
Saddlebag.
Like someone's going to sit on you on a horse. You know what I mean? Like you want to feel fresh.
Yeah.
One of the things I love
and
is
a
I
manicure
love humidifiers.
pedicure can help anybody. I don't care who you are.
Thank you.
Can I tell you how many times my husband, I'll be like, hey, do you want to come with me just to like keep me company?
Yes.
And he'll be like, well, okay, but I know he enjoys it. Are you kidding me?
How can you not? It's incredible. It's incredible. And what about a facial?
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing.
What about a facial? So many
massage. Oh my gosh, get a massage. I am a big believer in massage. I feel like it moves fluids, and it gets rid of toxins. Big believer in that.
Now, what about changing out one piece of your wardrobe? Because we all get comfortable. We have comfy clothes.
This is
true. We tend to wear them every day. You and I do similar things with the glasses. We tend to switch out our glasses just because we get tired of wearing the same glasses. It's part of the fashion. It's part of how you feel. It's part of how you look on camera. That's a very simple thing to do, to have. I wear cheaters. I'm not into prescription just yet.
I need the prescription.
No, I don't mind saying to people, I'll go to the dollar store. I'll get 10 pairs of glasses.
Sure.
I'll put them in all different places that I know I need to use them. I just went up. I think I'm like a 2.0 right now or 2.5 or whatever it is. And that's enough for me. I don't need any stronger than that. And that way, every time I put them on, I have a slightly different feel.
Sure.
Because it maybe matches the outfit, or maybe matches the occasion, or maybe just feels differently to me. Right?
See, one.
There you go.
Right here in my 2 three. I have 3 different pairs of glasses right here. So like I've got a tortoise shell.
I love your
glasses. I've got a black.
I love your glasses. One more thing I want to mention too.
I think I've got a red in here too.
Who doesn't? I mean, red is the best. Red is a power color. Right?
This is my original Boss glasses.
They're gorgeous.
Gosh,
I love them. What about? Let's talk about jewelry for a second.
Oh, okay? I love jewelry.
So now a lot of folks might say, I don't wear jewelry, or it's too expensive, or I don't, it breaks, this and that. I'm telling you, go costume. Oh
God, yeah.
And think about how that jewelry reflects a piece of who you are. For instance, it might be culturally based. It might be a particular designer that you like, where they're from internationally. It might have a symbol that you care about. It might be a locket with a photo in it. There's so many ways you can wear jewelry, right?
Amazon has a lot of great costume jewelry that is reasonably priced.
Just saying, I wear costume
I probably have a lot of this is Amazon costume.
Yep. I wear a lot of beads. I really just am in love with beads because they break. You give it a little wish and a prayer, and then you go on. Yeah. I don't worry about it at all. You know, you just don't worry like you'd worry about a very expensive piece. You know, it's just fun. There's a fun in wearing.
It's kind of like I wear a lot of bling, and it's funny because a lot of this is like it's like vintage. A lot of it is my mother's, and people will be like, "Well, wow, you're kind of you're wearing a lot of diamonds there," and I'm like, "Well, here's the deal. If they're not on my finger, they're in a safe. It doesn't make me feel close to my mother. It's not that I'm trying to like say, oh, look at all the diamonds or, look how sparkly. I just want to feel close to my mother. And so that to me, I made that decision, a few years ago. I said, you know what? I am not going to keep these in the safe.
That's right. That's right. And figure out, I don't know. I have this conversation all the time, Annie, with actors. Figure out your hair already. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people
or change it up.
Well, I'm going white, and I don't know if I want to go white, and then I've got red in it, and then I'm like, listen, it's fun, it's fashion. You can change it. It shouldn't be something that you feel married to.
I've never felt
you hate.
Yeah, I've never felt married to my hair. Although, lately, I have long hair. Should I cut it?
Can I take your hair? I love your hair.
I'd
like to see what I look like with long.
But it's funny because
locks.
I, for a very long time, had very short hair. And so it really just depends. And
I didn't know that.
When I was growing up, I had very short hair. I had like the kind of like that pixie cut. And so I never had long hair until later on when I decided to let it grow. And then it was just the thing. And it was like, well, and then it sometimes a little bit of it fell out when I was sick. So then it grows back. Hair
grows back.
Hair does grow back.
That's right.
However, it is just hair. And gosh, Lau, there's always a wig.
I know.
Right, there's always a wig.
As we started this conversation by saying most things are choices. Most. Not all. My age is not my choice. It is what it is, and I work with it. But most other things are my choice. My height is not my choice, right?
Right. But my voice is not my choice either.
No, but as you train your voice,
yes, exactly.
You
can find different shades of your voice.
Then that's a nice choice to make. Is what can I do with my voice?
Yep.
And where can it go?
Yep. Absolutely.
That does become a choice. So, wow, this conversation could go on, couldn't it?
I feel like we need to have more coffee and chit chat about makeup.
But
bosses, believe it or not, this does have a lot of relevance to you. And, even though we were talking about fashion and makeup and influencing, it really, guys, get yourself out there and show your humanness, show who you are in all aspects of your career. Really, I think that's one thing that's going to keep us moving forward in turbulent times and keep joy in our hearts. And really, help us to maybe even propel our businesses.
I love it. And I'll leave everyone on this. Don't forget to smile, because we use that as a technical tool in voiceover. But aside from that, it makes you feel good and younger and connected and happy and joyous. And so that is just your little technical tool for the day that and a lot of people say, you look nicer, prettier, more warmer, younger, like all those fun stuff we love to hear just by smiling.
Well, great conversation, Lau. Thank you so much. It was wonderful to get back together with you. And I'll give a great big shout out to our sponsor, IPDTL. You two can connect and chit chat about cool things like makeup and hair and fashion and voiceover and on-camera things. Find out more at ipdtl.com. You guys have an amazing week, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.